coming up on Spartan Sports Report.
Michigan State hockey matched up with 17th-ranked Penn State for a pair of games at Mud Ice Arena.
Men's basketball competed in 2 games this past week to kick off their campaign.
And the 5th-seeded women's soccer team hosted a first-round NCAA tournament game.
Welcome in to another Spartan Sports Report show. I'm Mackenzie Decker.
And I'm Deshaun Johnson. Mackenzie, we had a lot in Spartan Sports this past week, including a few teams with their season debuts, so let's get right into it.
Number 11 Michigan State hockey opened up a 4-game Big Ten homestand this past weekend against number 17 Penn State. The Spartans skated to a 3-3 tie in the first game after letting up a 3-goal lead, with the Nittany Lions taking the extra point in the Big Ten standings with a shootout win. MSU came into Game 2 looking to split the series. There was a ton of action in the opening 4 minutes of the first period as there was 3 goals and a penalty. MSU went up just 30 seconds in as Tanner Kelly takes the puck along the right side and fires it over Soulier's shoulder, but would then go on to take a tripping call 20 seconds later. Penn State scored twice in 19 seconds to turn a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 lead, with goals from freshman Aiden Fink and senior Chase McLean. On to the second now as Nienhuis gets the puck from Levshina, fires a shot from the high slot, and Nico Mueller finds the back of the net in the finish. Gavin O'Connell took the lead for Michigan State early in the third. 47 seconds later, Dylan Lugris tied the game back up 3-3. However, O'Connell was not done yet, getting the puck off the boards and sneaking one in to make the game 4-3. O'Connell now holds the team lead with 8 goals. And finally, all the way from the Spartan head, Artem Levshina fires a shot in an empty net to secure the 5-3 victory. Michigan State will remain at number 11 in the USCHO polls and get ready to face off against the newly ranked number 1 Wisconsin Badgers this weekend at Munn.
Michigan State opened its men's basketball season last Monday against James Madison. Tyson Walker started out hot for the Spartans, scoring 7 of the team's first 12 points. But poor free throw shooting by the Spartans allowed James Madison to control the first half as they took an early 13-point lead, eventually going into halftime up 37-33. In the second half, MSU came out with a head of steam and dominated in the paint as back-to-back dunks from Madi Sissoko and Cohen Carr propelled the Spartans to their first lead of the night. Both teams battled for the rest of the second half, with neither team letting up, and with a minute and a half to go, Walker got a steal and converted a massive and one to put MSU up 4. But James Madison's TJ Bickerstaff responded with a huge bucket of his own with just seconds left on the clock to send the game into overtime. In overtime, the Spartans fought hard as Walker got another and one to tie the game up late, but after a clutch 3 from Raekwon Horton, MSU would not get a final shot off in the last possession of the game, and JMU would hold on to get the massive upset win 79-76. The Dukes hands the Spartans their first home loss in November since 1986 and the first of Tom Izzo's career. Spartans used their 2-day break to recoup and prepare for Southern Indiana. Jaden Akins had himself a nice game with 13 points and 7 boards, and early in the first half, Jeremy Fears finds Akins, who slams it home and gets the Breslin Center rocking. Later in the half, it's Fears to Akins again, and this time he crosses up the defender and drains the jumper to put the Spartans up 23-6. Second half now, Southern Indiana trying to get back into it, and Jack Milkey drains a 3, starting an 8-0 run for the Screaming Eagles. But it was all MSU after that, as Tyson Walker led the Spartans in scoring again and made it look easy with his fadeaway, which helped Michigan State coast to a 74-51 win over Southern Indiana. Michigan State will take on Duke in the Champions Classic tonight in Chicago.
Last week, Michigan State head coach Robin Freilich began her Spartan campaign as MSU faced off against the Oakland Golden Grizzlies to tip off their year. With lots of expectations and additions in the offseason, the Spartans wanted to set the tone for the season. Gabby Elliott got the Spartans off to a fast start as Michigan State secured a lead and never looked back. Dee Dee Hageman got off to a hot start early in the game as she poured in points from inside and behind the 3-point arc. Hageman led the Spartans with 23 points on an efficient 80% shooting. Moira Joyner also contributed with 12 points of her own, shooting 50% from the field. Michigan State won commandingly 87-62 as Freilich began her journey as a Spartan 1-0 and looked to improve it to 2-0 against the Wright State Raiders. Picking up right where she left off in Game 1, Didi Hageman gets this driving and one layup to fall. Julia Aralt got off to a quick start herself as she goes up for the strong layup from the post. Didi Hageman continued her strong start to the year as she gets up this beautiful pull-up jumper to go. Abby Kimball, however, had the highlight of the game with this fantastic stop and pop from the free throw line. Kimball also had a great shooting performance as she shot 50% from the field, and the Spartans rolled by Wright State, winning 99-55. Head coach Robin Freilich and her Spartans start 2-0 as they prepare to defend their home court this Thursday against Detroit Mercy.
On Friday night, the 5th-seeded Michigan State women's soccer team hosted Ohio University Bobcats at DeMartin Stadium in the first round of the 2023 NCAA tournament. The Spartans headed into their first ever matchup against Ohio University, ranked 20th in the nation. A handball from the Bobcats awards Bella Najera a penalty kick just a few minutes into the match, and the freshman's shot bounces off the crossbar before finding its way comfortably into the back of the net. In the 26th minute, Najera slides the ball over to Justina Gaynor, who floats her shot over the Bobcat goalie and the defenders to double the Spartan lead going into the half. As the minutes wind down in the match, Gaynor sends her corner kick near the back post where Zivana Labovich's head connects with the ball, and Najera redirects Labovich's header into the net with the back of her heel to find the second goal of the night and secure the 3-0 win for MSU. For the first time in program history, the Spartans are making back-to-back NCAA tournament second-round appearances as they would travel to Provo, Utah to take on 4th-seeded Harvard Thursday night at 6 p.m.
On Saturday, MSU football traveled to Columbus to take on the first-ranked Buckeyes in a must-win game for the Spartans to keep their bowl hopes alive. Ohio State started out quick with 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, followed by a third on the first play of the second quarter. Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. brought in all 3 of these touchdowns. The Spartans were able to get on the board with a 53-yard field goal made by Jonathan Kim in the second quarter to give the Spartans their only points of the night. The Buckeyes would score 2 more touchdowns before halftime to put the score at 35-3 going into the half. Ohio State would come out right away in the second half with a field goal, increasing their score to 38. Both teams would not score again the rest of the second half, leading to a 38-3 finish. Michigan State travels to Indiana next Saturday to take on the 3-7 Hoosiers.
This past Friday, the men's and women's cross-country teams competed at the NCAA Great Lakes Regionals in Madison, Wisconsin. The women's team placed third and had 2 top 5 finishers, with Katie Osika in third and McKenna Veen in fourth. Also earning all-region honors were Lauren Freeland and Emily Bardwell. The men's team finished 5th with Andrew Nolan, Josh Smith, and Owen Heward, taking home an all-region title. The women's team earned an at-large bid to the NCAA championship this Saturday, and representing the men's team in Charlottesville will be Andrew Nolan.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Spartan Sports Report.
Make sure to follow us on all of our social media handles below, as well as the Spartan Newsroom website for continued sports coverage.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.